Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is dream killers. Those sometimes well-meaning people who want to keep you realistic and explain how your dreams are impossibilities. So we're going to talk about how do we contend with such people and how do we preserve and protect our dreams. So anyway, before we get started on this Monday morning, good morning, we're going to take a few minutes to get present. So let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy throughout your body and being. And as you exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, connecting you with the world beyond. And as you exhale any remaining stress, tension, negativity, and fatigue. Let's gently press our palms together, softly, softly, softly. Rub your fingers against your palms to feel the deliciousness of that sensation. And bring yourselves present to this moment in your body right here, right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, Andrea. So good to start the week off with you and with everybody else who's joining us. So we're going to talk about the dream killers. So I've heard, and probably you've heard, that certainly at the beginning stages of a dream, or a vision, or a mission, or a purpose, something that may be bigger than yourself or bigger than the you that you've been with those that are familiar with you, that maybe you want to be cautious in your sharing of these, or be selective in your sharing of your most deeply held dreams and visions. And the reason behind that would be that if this is a new vision or dream, if you're not very solid in it, that there are many people who, in their well-intended communications, will try to keep you being realistic, in big air quotes, realistic. And so I had an encounter yesterday with someone who it was just almost comical after a point. I was talking about my intentions to have land and build a home on it, and they said, but when's this going to happen? You're however old you are, what are you thinking? How could that possibly happen? When's it going to happen? And it was, like I said, it was almost comical, because good girl, Maggie, bow, Maggie, good girl, bow, Maggie, good girl. Trying to teach her to bow. So that's a bow. Yay, Maggie, good girl. She's a happy girl. Anyway, so dream killers, and what I think, if good girl, Maggie, what's important to be I want to say protective of your visions and your dreams, because there are a lot of people that your dream may be threatening to. Your ability to dream, your ability to step outside the box, your ability to have a vision, that is outside perhaps that person's understanding of who you are, or that person's, like, people have their perceptions of us, and often those perceptions are very limiting, and kind of keep us, sorry, um, I was checking to see if Maggie figured out how to get behind the curtain to get to the plant that you all know she's been trying to consume for months. Anyway, when we talk about dreams and visions, these missions, visions, purpose are something that are an inspiration from the heart that gives tremendous vitality and life. And yet those things can be tremendously threatening to the status quo, where you become someone, or you accomplish something, or you pursue something that incites other people to have to look at themselves and their own lives and their own choices, for example. And it's very interesting, because I think I could have this conversation in regard to age even. So good morning, Pat Moss. It's afternoon where you are, so good afternoon to you. Great to have you here. We're talking about dream killers, and how some people feel obligated to keep us being realistic, quote unquote realistic. And really, what is that about? Well, I think that it exists on a bunch of different planes. One is their projection of who you might be and what you might be capable of. Another is that it's their projection of what's possible or not possible. So it's a projection of their limitations. And when they're criticizing your vision or your dream, or telling you that it's not possible. And another thing is that we are very largely a product, unless we're deliberately conscious, we are very much a product of the common or prevailing social tides. And one of those social tides has to do with age, and what's possible at different ages, and what life should be, quote unquote, at different ages. And when you're too old for something, or when you're too young for something, or all this. Good girl, Maggie Bell. All of these different kinds of predispositions, or prejudices, we can say. Prejudices meaning prejudgments as to what is possible. And so the thing about dream killers is that they often are doing what they consider to be a service in challenging the possibility that you express. But the thing is that part of the motivation for that is that it's threatening. It's threatening to them to have somebody step outside the lines. And it's interesting. We're very social animals, human beings, and we're getting to see more and more how tribal we can become. And I had considered making today's topic different, talking about othering, and but we're going to keep this in the context of dreams and visions and dream killers. So visionaries there's this trajectory, and I don't know if I'm going to get it exactly right or not, but there's this trajectory of passage for a new idea or a new paradigm. And first, the people that are speaking that paradigm are called crazy. And I know I'm not going to get this right, but essentially, first they're called crazy, and ultimately, over time, through this trajectory where people say, yes, that's an ideal, it's never going to happen, and then people start seeing that it's possible, and eventually it becomes mainstream. And so these people that are visionaries first, are perceived as outliers and disruptors or radicals or rebels. And then, ultimately this whole trajectory goes through, and then things are then it's mainstream understanding. And I think right now, I'm going to stick to visions and dreams for right now. So even though I'm tempted to go elsewhere with this, I'm going to keep myself reined in here. So there are a number of people, and you may be among them at this moment in time, that envision a very different world, a vision of connection in the world, a vision of a world where we live in harmony with the planet and one another, and all of the creatures that coexist here with us. Good morning, Dennis. So good to have you here with us. We're talking about dream killers. So, people might say that such a possibility is not possible. Some the dream killers would say, you're just fantasizing, you're just a dreamer. So I'm just reminded the lyrics from John Lennon, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. And the thing is that we do dream our reality into being. And so those that would be the naysayers to our dreams and visions are the ones that are trying to kind of keep the status quo, and keeping that the constraints of the status quo. The people that say it's never going to change, I can't do anything about it, I don't have any power, my voice doesn't matter. All of those people hopefully come to a place eventually where they recognize that things have changed, and take that knowledge to recognize that so much more is possible than maybe what they've dreamt to be possible. And it starts with people having a vision. It starts with people having a vision and being undaunted. So there's some of us that become fueled by the dissension of others. You think that's not going to happen. Well, just watch me. We'll see about that. And then there are people who become very daunted by, good morning, Lisa. Welcome. So good to have you here with us this morning. We're talking about dream killers and what's behind that dynamic where people feel an obligation to tell you that your vision or your dream is crazy and ridiculous even. And so when we're talking about visions of a better world, or visions even for ourselves and our lifestyles and what our intentions are, it's I guess it's a way that our dreams get tested. So we get to get stronger in them, or we get to give them up. And dreamers are threatening, right? Because they are thinking outside the box. They are really expanding the paradigm and the possibility. And it does threaten the status quo. You know, when you have a vision of who and what you want to become, and you set off on that vision initially, it's a very tender, it's almost like it's a tender shoot, you know, and before it can grow into a robust and vital, healthy, sturdy plant, it needs nurturing and care. And so we get to put ourselves in positions where we will get the reinforcement we need to nurture these dreams, rather than to stomp them before they become fully formed. And as they become formed, we get to have the courage to step more and more fully into those dreams. Good morning, Bernadette. So good to have you here. We're talking about dream killers. And the motivation for this was, I had a conversation with somebody over the weekend telling them, you know, about my intention to have land and build a home. And they were like, yeah, and so when's that going to happen? You know, like, you're at this stage in life. When do you think that's going to happen? In other words, saying, well, you're too old for that. And it's like, not so much, you know. First of all, you know, when I think about this age idea, you know, this is also a way that we can tend to kill our own dreams, even, let alone those of other people. Is like, I dream of going back to school, but I'm 49 or something. And it's craziness, because so what? You know, if not now, when? Bernadette says vampire suckers. So yeah, so like for me, age is only a number. I really don't relate to age. And as I remember now, I was dating somebody years ago who was 43 and had a couple kids and was ready to retire and be a grandfather, you know. And um at that time, you know, I was interested in having children. And they were like, no, I'm too old for that at 43. And so like, this person at 43 was older than I am many years later, you know. And I've met 25-year-olds who, you know, life is already over. It's just crazy the way we relate to our lives, and what kinds of doors we close for ourselves, that because of external excuses, you know. So Lisa says, I wanted to join the Coast Guard when I was growing up, but people told me I was too fat and a female, so they wouldn't want me. I was crushed. So Lisa, exactly. So here's the thing. The dream killers can be very, very convincing. And the dream killers can often play on our greatest sensitivities, you know, our Achilles heels, right? To say, well, you're too old, you're female, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too tall, you're too short, you're too this, you're too that. And then we can find ourselves believing this. And the thing that, you know, I'm sorry, I just had to check where Maggie was. The thing that is brought to mind, I don't remember this woman's name, but this is so amazing. She had no legs. She was born with no legs. So she had her arms and her torso, you know, her fully formed body, but no legs. And so many people would, I believe she was given up for adoption, and a family took her in. And this woman became a competitive gymnast with no legs, like a really remarkable competitive gymnast. And she was, the people who adopted her raised her to be completely unlimited. And that's her perspective. And she has accomplished more than so many people who have all their limbs and who have created limitations for themselves in their lives. So our limitations are limitations that we accept. And we have so much more capability than we even imagine. So Bernadette says, I'm 61, proud, and starting a new venture around adoption support. Many say I'm not camera eye candy, so I just proved them wrong. And now I'm VP for the Ontario group. Congratulations, Bernadette. That is so awesome. And for those people that say that you're not camera eye candy, they can just go pound sand, right? Like, camera eye candy isn't what it's all about, is it? And the thing is that when we have a dream, when we have a vision, we emanate a light that communicates. People get it. And congratulations to you too, Bernadette, about adoption support. I'm so delighted to hear that. And 60 is the new 40, I think. Anyway, I just had my 64th birthday. So, and I have big things to do for the rest of my life. My eco park, it's not a consideration for me. Like, what does 64 mean? It doesn't really mean much, other than that I have a lot of really wonderful life experience and wisdom. And these things are going to happen. And I think, Bernadette, you and I are in the same club. The age isn't an inhibitor, right? We get to use that. I think that my age gives me certain authority that I didn't have as a younger person. Thank you so much, Hope. I so appreciate that. And welcome. So good to have you here with us. It's been a little while. So yeah, we've got Lisa says, oh my God, I never would have guessed. I thought you were my age, 57. You look fabulous. Thank you, Lisa. You're so sweet. That's very, very kind of you. Thank you. So I feel like I'm getting younger. For a little while there, actually, for a long time, like in my 40s and even at points in my 50s, I just felt like I was dying, like I was getting older and moving more and more toward death. And I can say that in the not too distant past, that's turned around, and I feel like I'm getting younger and younger and so Bernadette says, it's just a number and it doesn't reflect my soul purpose. 100%, Bernadette, 100%. And Hope says, well done, Bernadette. And absolutely. Our souls are timeless and ageless, and our sense of purpose and mission is not dictated by a number. So, or our height, or our weight, or our religion, or we get to dream our dreams. And Pat says, I agree with Lisa. You're not as old as you feel. I myself am you are as old as you feel. I myself am 65. Awesome, Pat. And so, age-wise, I've never ever related to age, never related to age. And, these numbers that keep rising are just mind boggling to me because I have no relationship to it at all. And Lisa says, my grandmother always said, don't get old. And I would ask how, but then I realized it was all about perspective and the way we feel. 100%, 100%, Lisa. It's not, we get to make meaning. And like I said, I've known like 25 and 30-year-olds who thought their lives were over. And it's just like, oh my gosh, the crazy, crazy, crazy. There's so much richness available to us at any moment for us to choose to embrace. Good morning, Jennifer. So wonderful to have you here with us. So we're talking about dream killers, and what we get to do is, first of all, when you have a dream that's a tender shoot, be protective of it, be selective about who you share that dream with, because there are many people who feel like it's their obligation and responsibility to crush those dreams before they ever get a foothold. And the other thing is that our dreams and visions and mission and purpose are what keep us vital and alive. And so nurture them, and live into and for them and through them. That's the greatest encouragement I can give you. And I'm going to wrap it up for this morning. I thank you so much. Elaine, welcome, welcome. I didn't see you there. So good to have you with us, as always. And Bernadette says, never let age dictate your life. I don't. Just exist. Exactly. Just live. Just thrive. And I have another friend who is talking about how old she is. And those kinds of conversations, the more old you consider yourself to be, the more old you become. So Elaine says, I'm not as willing to share anymore as my life is not up for debate. We all have our own perception. I get that, Elaine. 100%. It's like my dreams are my business. I can get that too. So anyway, I love you all. Rosalind, so good to have you. Thank you. Rosalind says, thank you, Core Connectors. I love it. Have a wonderful day from Lisa, and to you all. So much love. Keep those visions thriving. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. And I go live each weekday morning here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page. Please enjoy the other Enlightened World Network properties, EWN, One with the Earth, and Enlightened World Living. Wonderful community. So much love to you. Until next time, dream those dreams and make them into reality.